earn the right to war, to earn the right to...
Wow!
Hello, last week I uploaded a dragon-type regional variant of Slugma. I got some pretty interesting responses, especially on Reddit. One poster mentioned a metal coat evolution, which got me thinking and resulted in the video you're watching now. Several posters made fun of Regicargo's name, and fair, it was badly thought out. I knew it can't be an official name, but at the time I couldn't come up with something better. In hindsight, I would have called it King Cargo or Slug King, and yes, that intentionally sounds like Slow King. My consideration with the names was that regional forms don't get new names. That's how you get weirdness like Sand Slash being an ice type. It's also been mentioned dragon Slugmas should be convergent forms rather than regional forms, since Slugma is like a raw elemental being. I don't entirely disagree, but I fundamentally dislike convergent forms as an idea. I think they overlap too much with regional variants, and with how fantastical Pokemon is, there's really no reason why they couldn't be pushed to the max and beyond. Long-time viewers might get a strange sense of déjà vu here. Yes, just like in the Bomb video, I'm going to complain about the design methodology and then do it myself anyway. I'm quirky like that. Anyway, to get to today's subject. We're drawing a convergent version of Slugma, Magcargo, and a secret third thing based on slag, industrial byproduct. Designing Slugma itself was both deceptively simple and difficult. The biggest hurdle is always finding a way to nail the original's design, but changing enough that it doesn't look like a recolor. That's a point I've repeated in almost every video and will continue to repeat. The other challenge is trying to create as much foreshadowing as possible for what the final evolution will look like. In Slugma's case, since I wanted to be a convergent form, it was also very important to make it clear that this creature isn't entirely biological. Slugma's original design is in a strange spot since its eyes make it look entirely natural, but its body is made of raw magma. I decided to copy Roggenroller's ear-eye thingy. With those yellow hollow eyes, it definitely doesn't look normal anymore. Rendering metal and stone in the Pokemon style is also a lot tougher than it looks. You'll see that I ran into the same issue in the next two evolutions. I think I did an okay job this time around, but there's room for improvement. The head doesn't really look properly three-dimensional and the silhouette is off. As an artist, you have to accept that sometimes your observational skills are good enough to spot an issue, but not enough to solve it. Just gotta keep pushing.
Slugma, the slag Pokemon. Slugma's body is made of an assortment of debris and industrial leftovers. They often spawn around foundries and other industrial sites. Its hollow eyes are blind and only serve to deter predators. Despite its similarity to Slugma, it is entirely an unrelated species.
Starting out, I had a pretty decent idea of what I wanted Zincargo to look like. Keep the shell but replace the flame with the metal from the metal coat. Last time I completely rehauled the shell, so doing it again felt like overkill. I have to admit I forgot why I wanted to look so sad, but I think it was meant to contrast the real Magcargo in my existing redesign. I initially tried making the metal vein gold, in the hope it would make the color balance look better. It didn't, and it also ran into the additional issue that I already knew that I want the final evolution to be made of the same material. A pure gold slug would just look too similar to Goldengo. I also made the ore jutting out bigger to be closer to Magcargo's original silhouette. One design element or trap I keep falling back on is giving it a horizontal stripe on the body. It looks good, but it's a visual element that already belongs to Gastrodon. Slugma and Magcargo really show their age in that regard, and I want to stay true to that. Inking and filling the flats was straightforward, and I settled on a central light source. I'm still experimenting back and forth with which generation's rendering style I want to emulate, which is why these end up looking different every episode. Finally, some extra rendering on the head and eyes and it's done.
Zincargo, the ore vein Pokemon. Zincargo are in constant pain as the metal accumulated in their body strains against their shell. Despite their hardy appearance, they are quite fragile and will avoid fighting by staying completely still. If forced to defend themselves, they will lash out desperately, shooting streams of superheated metal.
Escargium. This one was a really tough nut to crack, way harder than I anticipated. It's hard to see it in the speed paint, but this took 3 separate work sessions to finish. It's always good to sleep on a design a couple of times, every time you come back with a fresh mindset. The core idea here was that it evolves with a firestone or by leveling up in a volcano. This would turn it into a pure, refined metal. I had something like the Silver Surfer in mind. My original plan was to make it a fast defender in the style of my Lotic, and I spent quite a long time working on that. At some point it just clicked in my mind that this doesn't look like a slug, or a snail, and least of all Slugma. In a strange way, we're on 2 layers of abstraction here, but actually only one. It's the evolution of a convergent variant, but its overall look is much closer to the original than the variant. I tried giving it those horizontal stripes again, the bane of my existence, but I snapped out of it fast enough. Once I embraced the slug design, things started going a lot smoother. Getting it to look enough like Slugma without just being Slugma minus was tough, and the metal rendering drove me up the wall. Those big eyebrow antennae too. At some point I decided that making it a pure steel type just isn't interesting enough, and I started thinking about Quicksilver. I settled on the idea that its body is so pure, so refined that it becomes like heavy metal, seeping into and corrupting everything around it. I gave it another horizontal stripe, gave up on that, and changed the vertical stripes to look more like those on Goldingo. Elodin mentioned that it still looks too much like a variant of Slugma rather than a final evolution, so I caved and made its neck a lot longer and gave it that Gudra tail. While drawing it, I actually thought the proportions are similar enough to Cradyley's to get a pass, but after taking a break it started looking way too small for me too. It was a lot, and I do mean a lot of work, but I think it turned out decent. Not great, not terrible. And there's a lot of value in the journey too. The more tough nuts like this you crack, the easier it becomes.
Biscargium, the refined Pokemon. This artificial Pokemon was created in an underground lab. Despite appearing harmless, it is deeply malicious and takes great joy in destroying its surroundings. If given the chance, they will slip into every water source they can find, irreversibly contaminating it with its heavy metal body within seconds.
And that's a wrap for today. I hope you like these. If you do, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, engage, whatever. Let me know what you'd like to see next, and stay tuned for the upcoming Bronze Age thingamabobs. Bye bye!